When you go through a hurt or a challenge, whether that's in your personal life or in your career, it can often be something that takes over a bit and becomes something that you obsess over. And it can sometimes take over your ability to fully enjoy your life, or even your ability to fully progress on your goals. So today I want to give you a quick and easy question to ask yourself, or in essence, a mindset shift that might just help to bring you back into the mindset and energy that you want to live in. Hi there, I'm Antonie, and I talk about all things feminine self-development, including feminine energy, cycle syncing, and feminine archetypes. And what I ultimately want with this channel is to help women truly understand and cherish the powers of the feminine within them. So if that's something you need a bit more of, make sure to click that subscribe button. So in this video, I wanted to do something a little bit different than what I've done before. So usually my content is based on ideas or tips or concepts that I've worked on for a while and that I've been using or implementing into my own life for a while. But in this video, I wanted to just bring it a bit more into the present and talk about a small mindset shift that recently helped me. When I felt like my mind kept obsessing and thinking about something in the past that felt hurtful and caused me to question who I am. And I think we all experience these kinds of events, right? Someone hurts you by something they do or the way that they speak to you. Your project at work completely tanks. Your clients won't sign up for your services, or a relationship ends. And with that, we need to process. And I want to say that again. We need to process how we feel about that. We need to move through the emotions and move through the feelings of hurt, shame, regret, anger, sadness, loneliness, fear, and everything in between. I really don't want to perpetuate the idea of get over it and move on, because that is something I fundamentally do not believe in. So I want you to know that this shift was something that came to me after having worked on processing my emotions and learning from the experience, not before and not without it. But when you've moved through the emotions and yet your mind just keeps thinking about it, it keeps bringing it up, and it keeps bringing your mood down because of something that doesn't even exist in the present anymore, because it's in the past. I want you to consider this. In all that time, since the event, since whatever happened, that you've spent thinking, obsessing, contemplating over everything you did and said, everything they did and said, how things could have been different if this or that, what would you have been thinking about if that had never happened? Right now, in your life, if that thing had never happened, what would be on your mind? Would you have been processing something more important and relevant right now? Would you have been practicing more mindfulness and self-care? Would you have been brainstorming ideas for your business? Would you have been connecting to friends and showed interest in their lives? Would you have been working on your own growth or development or learned a new skill? What would you have been thinking about instead if you hadn't spent all that time thinking about something that you can no longer change? As I said earlier, this is a pretty recent shift and mindset hack for me, but ever since I incorporated it into my thought patterns, so whenever those thoughts pop up, because they do, that's going to take a little while to simmer out, but instead of getting into this really kind of desperate state of like, oh, stop thinking, or just spiraling down into that same old pattern, or trying to think of like, what could I think about, just anything that I can think about right now, instead of feeling that kind of desperation, or instead of going back into that negative thought spiral, I feel like I have a better option in front of me of what I would be already thinking about if that problem hadn't happened, and therefore what I can now choose to think about instead. Because the thing is, when we start obsessing over these things, they tend to feel so big. They tend to feel like they are just taking over our entire lives. But when we really think about it, if just this one thing hadn't happened, then I would still be functioning. I would still be thinking. I would still be in a thought of some sort. And so what would I be thinking about? And for me, when I originally asked myself that question, I thought about what kind of problem or sadness would I be thinking about right now? What kind of issue was I thinking about before this happened? And the thing is, I couldn't even remember. I couldn't even remember what kind of problem I had that I was thinking about before this happened. And that made me also realize that these problems that we obsess over, they aren't necessarily as big as we make them. Because if I can't even remember what happened a month ago that I was obsessing over, then most likely this thing that I'm obsessing over is also not that important. Not because it wasn't hurtful and not because it wasn't an important event, but because it's not valuable enough to destroy your day. It's not valuable enough to put you down. It's not valuable enough to take over time that you could have been spending on much more important things. So for me, now with this mindset shift, I feel so much freer and lighter. And I feel like I have a better alternative because I realize I already have an option of what I would have been thinking about. And it's almost like instead of feeling that desperation of what I could be thinking about, I just place myself in the person that I would have been if that hadn't happened. And I just imagine, what would she be thinking about? Because this hasn't happened to her, so what would she be thinking about? And then I look at my day and I think, I actually would have been thinking about the videos I'm going to record later. Or I would have been brainstorming ideas for my new offer. Or I would have been thinking about that friend that is going through something right now. I would have been so much more productive and useful and creative and empowering in my thoughts. And so therefore I can choose to be that. I can just choose to think about that instead, because that's what I would have done anyway. If you're interested in more quick ways to shift your thoughts and your mindset, then check out my free guide below for 2 simple steps to feel fulfilled now and stop waiting around for that thing to make you feel happy. So grab your free guide in the description box below. So that is it. I hope this little mindset shift was helpful for you as well. And if you feel like it was helpful, I hope you'll click that like button and let me know. And feel free to leave a comment if this is a mindset hack that you want to start incorporating and about any other little mindset shifts that you like to incorporate. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on any future videos. And in the meantime, check out these videos.